The best Guild Wars 2 festival is almost here. The Shadow of the Mad King, where you can have a lot of cool events, as well as one of the best, easiest farms to do to get a lot of gold in Guild Wars 2. The Labyrinth. The entire point of this farm is just going around one of the Halloween maps, killing enemies over and over again. They will give you this item, Trick or Treat bag, that you can sell for a lot of silver, making you get a lot of gold. You will also be getting yourself a lot of spirit shards that you can use to transform them into gold. I'll make a video about that very soon. But today, instead, I want to talk about each profession and what build you should bring for each of them to get yourself a lot of gold. So, well, let's get into it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. Now, how does this work? Well, in the Labyrinth, there's a few unspoken rules about how you play it. There's a lot of enemies, and you want to hit them all. The thing is, they die very fast. So, you don't have to do this, but what most people do is they just remove gear from themselves, making them not do enough damage for the enemies to explode, and instead everybody tagging them and getting everybody the loot. You can also do this by just getting yourself gear that is tanky, right? That doesn't do a lot of damage, like mincers, like Magi's, something like this. Or what some other people do is that they give boons, they heal, they give barrier to their allies, and when they do this, everything that they tag, you get. These are the two types of builds that we're gonna get. Tagging builds, where you try to hit as many enemies as you can, or builds that passively give boons to everybody around you for them to tagging for you. For armor, it doesn't really matter. If you really want to man-max it, I personally really like Magi's because it gives you precision, which will be important later. The thing is, it doesn't give you more damage, which is important for enemies to not die instantly. For runes, I really like the rune of speed because it gives you more swiftness duration, making you faster, which is very important in the Labyrinth to be able to tag everything around you. And for relic, I really like relic of speed to give you more speed whenever you're using swiftness, which you most likely will be having all the time because people are gonna give it to you or you give it to yourself. Relic of the pack, because that way every time you use your elite skill, you give super speed to your allies and yourself to make everybody faster. And relic of the Storm Singer, as he will give you an arc chain lightning attack once you attack after using a movement skill. And if your class, your build that we're gonna talk about, does have a movement skill like this, it's pretty nice to AoE targets. For sealers on your weapon, I really like Super Sealer Fire. This is why we took the precision stat. There we go. Because every time you get a hit, a critical hit, you'll be doing a flame blast for 240 radius, which is great for tagging. Superior Seal of Speed as well is nice because it gives you swiftness after killing a foe, and because you're killing foes all the time, guess what? You get yourself perma swiftness. It's very good. All of this applies to every build we're gonna talk about, with some exceptions, but we'll get to them. Now let's start from the best build to the, I guess I have this class and I need to play this now, builds. And of course the first one is gonna be Herald. This is the God Emperor build. This build is perfect for Labyrinth. Why? Not only your Revenant, so you have your beautiful hammer that can just shoot everyone at range, but this build also gives every boon in the game just by putting your facets passively. Your energy will start going down, as you can see right here, and you'll be giving all of these boons all the time. Once you're done, you can just switch to Ventari and heal your allies to give them some support and also give you the tags that they get. The cool thing about this build is that it's super easy to play, and this is one of the reasons why it was so insanely powerful and popular last Halloween. Now there is a big issue with this build though, and that is that this build can become useless randomly. As you can see here from last year, you can see that there are 5 heralds in my group of 20 people. This means that we're giving the same boons to everybody, which means that it is very unlikely for you to hit someone because they might already have that boon, making you not get their tags. So it is very important for you to see, oh my god, are other people in my squad giving the same boons that I'm doing? Quickness, for example, which is what Herald gives. If that's the case, then maybe you shouldn't bring Herald, and you should just focus on using your hammer to destroy everything around you instead, and tagging instead of actually passively giving boons. Check your squad, see if this is the case, and otherwise change your build. Now we're gonna next talk about the anti-Herald. If you see a Herald, you can just bring this and you'll be getting all the tags regardless. And this is the Tempest build, and oh my god, this is perfect. There's a lot of reasons why this build is so good. First of all, you're giving alacrity to all of your allies, something that a Herald cannot give, which means that you're gonna get all of those beautiful tags. But most importantly, you're giving your allies auras: Fire Aura, Frost Aura, Shocking Aura, Magnetic Aura. A lot of Frost Aura from your Elemental Bastion, and all these auras as well from Aftershock, for example, Magnetic Aura, Frost Aura from Flash Freeze, and Rebound. And any aura you grant yourself is granted to nearby allies. Now, going Scepter Dagger is actually super good in order to give a lot more auras to your allies if you know how to play Elementalist, but it might be too complicated for some players, in which case you can just go for Hammer because it already gives a good amount of auras, and you have the little spinny guy that just goes around you tagging everything on your way, which is, I think, pretty good for this while you're pressing your utility, and of course giving people auras. Staff is also nice because of things like Meteor Shower, right? But you kind of get stuck while you're pressing the button, so it's not ideal. The Spear is also nice because of how big every one of the attacks is, so it's great for tagging, but you can really choose whatever you want. At the end of the day, you will be getting a lot of tags out of your rebounds. It is also very important for you to overload every time you go into one of your attunements, right? You also have Fresh Air, so you can just go back to air and overload air every time. This is very important to give alacrity to your allies and just keep going, right? You can also pick Lucid Singularity, so you give alacrity whenever you overload instead of where you're actually using your auras, but it really depends on what your playstyle is going to be. Are you going to be doing a lot of auras with your weapon too, or are you just going to use your overloads instead? Just pick one and go that way. You probably will tag more, just giving auras over and over again, but it will be a bit more engaging. So if you just want to kind of AFK, just overloading from time to time and pressing your utilities, then you just go Lucid Singularity instead. Now there's another very good tagging build that really goes against Herald if you see one in your group, and that is Willbender. And why is this? Because it gives alacrity. Again, this is very useful, because you'll be giving a boon that Herald cannot give. Not only that, all of your class is going to be giving a lot of heals just by you going around with your spear, attacking just like this with your auto attack. You'll be healing your allies and tagging everything around you, which is very good. You also can give Aegis, which Herald doesn't give with Advance. You can give Stability, which Herald in this case doesn't give, and you'll have your Signal of Courage giving passive healing to everyone around you as well. You also have an insane amount of mobility with your F2, F3, and F1, and it's just a very easy build to play. Jump around like a maniac, press all the buttons, and get your tags. It is important to note that the alacrity that you give to your allies is dependent on you hitting enemies after you press your F2, but you're gonna be tagging everything around you anyways, so it should be fine. You can even hit your Spear 4 if you're desperate to hit everything around you just like that. Now the next thing I want to talk about is Thief, because this is one of the most famous builds for Labyrinth, because you have Shortbow. And the thing about Shortbow is it has Trick Shot that will, whenever you hit something with it, you're gonna see that they ricochet against one another. So the more enemies you have, the more they ricochet together and the more you hit, which is the whole point. You also have your Infiltrator's Arrow that will make you just teleport around you, which is insanely good. But you can do even more with this. This is usually played on Daredevil or Core Thief, which you absolutely can do. But what you can also do is play Spectre, giving you Shade Step, which means that your F2, you enter Shroud. When you press 2, Grasping Shadows, you'll be giving alacrity to you and your allies, which is super good. Because as we said before, alacrity, the whole point of alacrity is that you cannot give it in something like Herald, which is very popular. So now you not only have Trick Shot and all of this ranged ricochets, but you also have Grasping Shadows that will give alacrity and give you the tags. You can also have a lot of mobility with your 3 on Enter Shadow. You can give some stability and aegis, which Herald doesn't give, and some barrier that also will give you the tags. The other cool thing is that you can bring some of the shadow steps that will, well, shadow step you other places and give boons around everybody that you put these wells to, which is super good to give you the attacks that they get. You also have haste to get yourself some quickness and some swiftness. It's a stun break as well. And you have shadow step to teleport in and back if you want. You can also bring Thieves Guild if you want to give yourself these little minions that will just come around you and attack random enemies, giving you more tags. Honestly, this is a very, very chill build, and I highly recommend you to use it. Kind of forgot to say this, but everything will be in the description down below, so you can just get the links. Now we're gonna start talking about the builds that are okay. They're not bad at all, but they're not the best either. The first one in the list is Scourge. The very cool thing about Scourge is that you have staff. You can put all these marks on the floor that will hit your enemies, but also your allies, because you're bringing transfusion. You will give them stability, which Herald doesn't give, some healing, and by using your Shroud, which is this little thing right here, you will also be giving your allies barrier, which also will give them your tags, and alacrity as well. You can bring Trail of Anguish to give stability everywhere you go and give yourself some swiftness, and your allies too. Serpent Siphon to give ages to your allies, which Herald can't give, and Wall of Suffering because it's a big pulse around the floor that you can just, you know, do damage with. Same thing with the Ghastly Breach. You see a lot of enemies, boom, you hit this in. You see a lot of enemies too, Ghastly Breach, boom, all the circle being hit by you. Great. This is a very, very good build. The only reason why I don't think it's as good as the other ones is because it's a bit slow. It is a Necromancer, you don't have that much mobility. It's fine, but not as good as the other ones that we talked about. The next build we're going to talk about is Engineer, particularly Scrapper. So, why Scrapper? It doesn't give alacrity. And you could bring Mech, it's not horrible. But the thing about Scrapper is that you have all of these beautiful gyros, all of them giving super speed, giving some damage around you, just like you can see right here, and giving quickness to your allies. You'll also be giving some barrier. Well, actually no, that's not true, because we're gonna pick this. We're gonna give you super speed actually instead. Whenever you use your well abilities with this trait, which is super good because you make everybody faster and get their tags. But the coolest thing as well is that you're bringing beautiful rifle with aim assisted rocket, this trait right here, which makes it so every few attacks a rocket comes out that will hit everything around it, doing a lot of damage to everything in that zone, giving you all the tags. It's super chill build. Just press all your utility. You can press all your buttons right here as well. Give some boons to your allies, give some barrier to your allies, give some super speed to your allies, and of course, well, making everybody fast and you tagging everything. Super chill, super nice. You can also bring a hammer. It has more mobility with your 3, but doesn't have the range. You will be giving a bit more quickness to your allies though. It's nice. Now, the next one is one of the most famous builds for Labyrinth, Tag Mirage. And why this is because you get a special ability with Greatsword that splits, you know, this little beam that you can see right here, it will split it into many beams around you. You can see it here because there's only one enemy, but it will split them, giving you all attacks around the target that you're attacking. You will also be giving alacrity to all of your allies, making this actually super, super good. Every time you do the tagging ability, you will also be giving alacrity. Now, how do you do this special attack? You dodge. Whenever you dodge, you can press out attack and you will do the special attack. You will also be picking Deceptive Evasion, making you every time you dodge to create your special attack a clone that will also do the special attack that I'm talking about, giving you even more tags. Your Greatsword 2 will also bounce multiple times because of Bountiful Blades, and your Deception skill will create a clone if you have other clones active. So the idea would be to dodge, do one attack, then use your Jaunt, for example, to get yourself more clones, just like this, and then do it again. And then you want to switch weapons to another Greatsword that you already have to give yourself more energy. And why is that? That is because you're bringing a Sigil of Energy that gains 50% of endurance when you swap to this while in combat. And you just keep doing this over and over and over again, tagging everything around you, giving alacrity to yourself and your allies, and it's just super fun. This is a very, very good build, but I'm not sure how good it is right now on Labyrinth, particularly because of a nerf that happened with Greatsword very recently, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But I think it's still going to be very... You're also bringing Power Break because you can give stability to your allies, which is a good boon to give, as this will give you attack from them. And you also have Mimic, and you player this with Blink to use Mimic to restart the Blink cooldown. Mimic, Blink, boom, and then you have another Blink to just teleport around everywhere. Pretty cool, eh? Now for Druid, the main reason why you're bringing this is because you're giving Alacrity. Celestial Avatar will give Alacrity to your allies, and these abilities are all AoE, they're kinda ranged, so you can just heal your allies and boom, 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 easy peasy, give some Alacrity, get those beautiful tags. But Staff is also pretty good for tagging. As you can see right here, you can just boom, look at that, attack everything around you. You have your 2, you have your 3, which has movement, you have your glyphs that do give you stability and protection, give some healing here on Celestial Form. You have your spirits that do some bones as well, which is pretty nice. It's pretty awesome. And the last build, which I don't really think it's that good to be honest, but it must be mentioned, is Berserker. Realistically, you should only bring this build if you don't have another class, because it's just not that. The entire idea would be to go into Berserk mode with your staff and just auto attack, heal your allies, move around with them, do some damage to your enemies, sometimes switch weapons and go into Berserk, into Hammer, and you can just go there, you know, and just bonk everybody with your hammer, boom, in a big, huge AoE, which will give a lot of tags. While you're also using banners to give super speed, to give some stability, to give some barrier, which will give you some tags. But it's not the best thing. You're already competing with quickness, with your F1s, with Herald. So, I wouldn't really personally bring this. It's okay. You can do it, but there you go. And there is one build for every one of the classes in Guild Wars 2 for you to do an insane amount of gold farming and have some fun. Hopefully this helped you. Let me know if there's anything that you think could be better in any of these builds. There's a few of them that I didn't mention because I don't personally really like them and I think they're not really worth playing. But, you know, you can debate me on that on the comments. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. Go check out the builds in the description below. See you around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.